Blog Talk Radio.
Rice's removal was long overdue. First step to stopping the mistreatment of Rutgers student athletes. When Rutgers finds out about something wrong involving their students, they should act immediately. Efforts to get Rutgers to address their problems were ignored for months. Instead, I was removed from my position. That is wrong, and that is why I filed a lawsuit. Thank you.
Mr. Murdoch brought the problems to the attention of Rutgers University. He was dismissed from his position. Nobody looked into the problem. Nobody addressed the problem. He was dismissed from his position.
All right, it's time to get the buzz behind the buzz. That is the sound of a podcast, and it's time to turn up the heat. This is the Salon and Barbershop Great Debate. Thanks to all the shops that are playing us and turning us up, and you too can turn us up if you're under the dryer, at your computer, even from home or phone. You can listen. Now, the phone line to do that, share with your friends, is area code 646-652-2642. You can also jump on the line with us if you have a question or comment, or you feel like you can bring some buzz to this conversation. You can also chat with us on Twitter at DryerBuzz. And, of course, we've got a couple places on Facebook that the conversation is going. So I'll be watching your comments there and taking it to our panel for this great debate. You should be right now at DryerBuzz.com. When we come back, we're going to go inside the good, the bad, and the buzz of sports culture, live from Atlanta, where Atlanta is this weekend hosting the Final Four. What does that mean? I couldn't tell you, but I have got the great panelists online that's going to tell you all about it. It's another great debate. This is where we spread the buzz.
Gentlemen and ladies, debate is combat, but your weapons are words.
Debate is blood sport. You must destroy your opponent, not only verbally, but physically. I am here to help you to find and keep your righteous mind.
This debate is stirring up a lot of excitement. It's going to be broadcast all over America.
Bringing to you live tonight's history-making debate.
All right, and of course, to guide us in this debate, I had to go to the sports world. I had to put out the call for the Final Four fanatics, okay? Because y'all know my timeline. I try to keep up with the sports, and so I called on my Twitter line. I went with Hanging with Coop, and his Twitter is HANGNWIT, Coop. There's a lot of perpetrators out there, but Coop is where you want to go if you really are a fanatic. He's the public address announcer for Lakeside Vikings. Ooh, don't let me get that wrong. Lakeside Vikings basketball, and the hype man for the @ATL_Falconholics tailgate crew. We're going to find out what all that means. And, of course, I had to go to Dexter Porter, who has been a long-time supporter of DryerBuzz.com. And, of course, when I have a sports question, I jump in his timeline. And then I think he has a guest for us on the line. Now, the fellas are going to be talking. I'm going to have to just go right into producer mode because there's really just not much I can say. But the name of the show is called It's My Hair, What Do You Care? And in the salons and the barbershops today, of course, the hot topic is the fact that Atlanta is hosting the Final Four. Everybody has picked their teams. Everybody is filling their timelines with all of the paraphernalia, the memorabilia. People are reminiscing. And there's some stuff going on in sports. And so we wanted to talk about not just the bad, because as we know, Rutgers is leading the headlines right now. We're still dealing with the situation that happened at FAMU. There's negative stories. We got the APS cheating we've been talking about all week. And all of this stuff is going on. But at the same time, there is some good, there is some bad, and there is some buzz And in this 30 minutes of a great debate, we want to talk about that. Hey, fellas.
Hey, how are you?
All right, and I got a third person online. Dexter, I believe that's somebody you brought to help us spread the word. Tell us who we got.
That is sports analyst extraordinaire Jarvis Avery.
Hi, Jarvis. Thank you so much for jumping on. Now, they're turning us up in the salons and in the barbershop, guys. And, of course, I put out the call. I need my Final Four fanatics. And, as you know, a lot of times bloggers and news people, we have to jump in on sports when something happens. But I know we got some situations going on. But how excited is Atlanta right now? How excited are parents right now that Atlanta is hosting the Final Four? What does that mean? Somebody jump off and tell us.
I think what that means for AAU ball in the city of Atlanta, because I've seen a couple of groups of AAU players that parents have taken to the Final Four games, it shows a lot of these inner city kids the next level in which they have to get to and what the work and effort and dedication to get to that. There are a couple of parties that went on this week where you had high school basketball players, juniors and seniors, that are being scouted by some of these coaches, because don't fool yourself. Scouts are in town right now talking to many of these high school players now, because we're in the South. I mean, now is basketball as big in the South as in the Northeast? Probably not. But you've got a lot of coaches, scouts that are in here hosting functions, doing recruitment. So it's very big. It's very big.
Now, when you say recruitment, and of course I know we saw one of the top players with the horrendous leg break this weekend, and I was asking a friend of mine, I was like, when you have a hopeful like that, a young athlete like that, man, everything is, here's a chance. He's not playing this weekend, and you're saying the scouts are in town. What do families do? My first thought was, is he insured? Can you insure, your athlete? And they was like, no, you can't be doing all this because there's all these regulations and guidelines and different things that they have to follow. But to not be in the game, to end up and get to the point where your team is here and you're not in that game, what does that mean to a young athlete?
Well, obviously, he's devastated, because he has an opportunity to get his team to the Final Four, and he's not able to do so. But on the bright side of that, he is getting a chance to come home with the team, so he's still with the team. As far as insurance goes, you can take out a policy on that athlete. A lot of high-profile football athletes do that in their sophomore and junior years in case of injury. Mm-hmm. But that's one of those tough situations. My heart goes out to them. A lot of my kids when I call their basketball games, they were former teammates with him and know some of his other relatives. So it's devastating. It's just one of those freak accidents. How many times has he run? It's like you said, he closed out on that same play on the opposite side of the court and nothing happened. He closed out the same way on this side of the court and it happened. It's just one of those things. It's just it shows when we talk about recruitment and about good coaches. You have some coaches that, they treat their players strictly as assets. Once they get hurt or once their time is used up, they're discard of them. But you can tell with Louisville in particular, the bond that the players had and the coaches had, that they're going to do whatever they can to not only, hopefully get Kevin back on the court, but also make him succeed as a student and matriculate out of Louisville University.
Mm.
And it raises...
Wait, that's Cooper that was just talking, right?
That was Cooper, I think.
That was Cooper, okay. All right, go ahead.
I just to piggyback on what Cooper was saying, it raises the question on the NCAA's policy on what types of insurance players can actually carry. Because a player I can't even take out a loan on myself. Say if I want to take a loan out and put money aside, should I get hurt? Because the NCAA has these weird rules against that sort of thing. But here you are, you're making money, millions of dollars, and some would probably say over the course of years, a couple of billion, because NCAA is a corporation. It's not an organization. They call themselves an organization. It's a corporation. Okay, and you make millions upon millions of dollars on these athletes. You don't give them a stipend, okay, to play. You don't pay them, and then you expect them once they're hurt they have to play by your rules and carry whatever insurance carrier you want them to carry. No, I think that's immensely unfair. I think at the minimum the schools ought to carry a full policy out on these players. You're making money off them. I mean, this guy's stock value has gone down because of this tear, this break.
Mm-hmm.
He may never be at 100%. I don't know. I certainly hope so, because there are other stories. You look at Clinton Portis, what happened to him in the game Miami and Ohio. Was it Miami, Ohio State, or Miami, Nebraska? I can't remember. But his leg was completely torn off from under him. Okay, but he came back from that. Now, some folks would say, had that never happened in the first place, he probably would have gone first round. He did not get a chance to go first round. I think he went second or third round. Okay, Ware will not be a first round draft pick unless he's able to come back over the next year and year before that, and just all of a sudden just break every NCAA basketball stat there is.
What happens to a player, and God forbid, and we've definitely seen the miracle of medicine. We've even seen the miracle of determination to get back out there. But what happens when a player has such injuries in college or even in high school? Because the level of these guys, men and women are playing and involved in sports today. But what happens when they can't play anymore? Let's just say there is no miracle of medicine, no miracle of determination, and that's it. What would have been the next step for a player?
Well, I'll let one of the other guys answer that one.
Well, if he wouldn't be able to play again, as far as, personally, that'd probably be hard. It's just like somebody playing their last, like the seniors playing their last game, what do I do after this? But to have it taken away from, in this situation, like I said, in college, some coaches and programs, as soon as a player is done with, even injured, they'll discard them. And other schools take care of them, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, in certain cases they keep them around and they learn other aspects of sports. A lot of them go into coaching, sports management and other things. But, hopefully, like I said, Louisville and other programs, they keep them around. He's a good kid. They make sure they keep him through the program, let him graduate. It looks good for the basketball program as far as they're trying to recruit also. But there are other ways to stay around the game, like Dexter said, he may not be at 100% again, but there are other ways to stay around the game. He might not play in front of millions, but there's always a pickup game, always a league. So he'll never truly stop playing basketball, just not on the level that he once dreamt of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Now, let's get a. Okay, I'm sorry. Is that Avery? Go ahead, jump in.
No, that was Dexter. I was going to say, to his point, there are a lot of good players who've injured themselves that are playing overseas right now, and they're playing semi-pro. Okay, so it's not necessarily.
Really want to play overseas? Let me just ask.
It depends on the player. I don't think most American players want to play unless the
dream is to play in the NBA. But let's be real, in this day and time, it's also to get a check and do what I want to do. So a lot of guys, do go overseas and make a nice living, but still have the desire to want to make it in the NBA. One of my former students is actually playing over in Turkey now, and he's enjoying it. So, but the dream is to get to the NBA, but there's still other avenues to play.
Right, because I would imagine if you asked your former student, if you had your choice between playing in the worst NBA team in America and the best European team, what would you think he would say?
Oh, he'd take the worst NBA team. He'll definitely take the worst NBA team. Well, the thing about it is, guys say they go play overseas, but nobody knows that. We don't watch, I don't have a Turkish cable station. So they want not only to play in the NBA, which is the highest level, but they also want their family and friends to see them accomplish things that they say that they do. So from that aspect, guys play overseas to keep their skills honed for that one shot when they come home to get a chance at the NBA.
And 99% of the players don't even speak the language of the host country.
Exactly.
They don't even speak the language.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Now, guys, I want you guys. We are already 15 minutes into the podcast, and you are listening to DryerBuzz and Company. It's our Saturday show where we turn it up in the salons and in the barbershop. It's called "It's My Hair." What do you care? And some of us, are all into the sports thing in the Final Four and the colleges and the games that's happening. And some of us are scratching our head, looking at our timeline, like, what are they talking about? So this is my contribution. I found the Final Four fanatics. Now, guys, tell us, help me and some of the others that are looking at your timeline and seeing the excitement. What are the teams? Where are we in this tournament and this championship?
I'm taking Michigan over Syracuse and Louisville over Wichita, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm with Dexter on that one.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm taking Michigan over Syracuse. Look, shooters, okay, you've got Nick Stauskas, you got Tim Hardaway Jr., okay? You've got those two. You've got Trey Burke, probably one of the best top 3 point guards in the nation, okay? I don't think there's any question about that. And then number 3, you got a strong man down there, Mitch McGray. That guy, 75 points in the tournament, 46 rebounds. That's domination.
Domination for a guy who just started when the tournament started.
Absolutely.
Just in the dollar.
All right,
I'm
y'all
with
got a call.
Dexter.
Let me bring somebody on the line.
Go ahead.
Okay, area code. Let's see. I think it's 44276. They obviously press 1, so they want to. And if you call in to listen on your phone, that's cool. But if you press 1, we bring you right in on the show. What's up?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
We got you.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to go with Syracuse over Michigan, and I'm going to take Louisville over Wichita State. And the reason why I picked Syracuse over Michigan, I'm aware of Trey Burke, and I'm aware of Tim Hardaway Jr. and Glenn Robinson Jr. They're all, some good players. But I think this is going to boil down to coaching. And I'm going to take Jim Boeheim over the coach over Michigan. I think they're better prepared. I think the 2-3 zone is going to give Michigan some fits. They're very tall, lengthy. Their guard plays, they're like 6'3", 6'4", defending the 2-3 zone at the top of the perimeter, which I think that'll give Michigan guards a little bit more trouble than their familiar, that they've seen all year. So that's my pick.
Well, let me counter that and why I believe Syracuse won't beat Michigan. One, Jim Boeheim does play a 2-3 zone. It's not the zone; it's the athletes in the zone. Yes, they're long and lengthy and athletic. Michigan can match that. Now, Syracuse did beat Marquette, but Marquette is one of the worst offensive teams in the country. And if you watch that game, Syracuse didn't shoot lights out either. Now, Michigan is, and when you watch offensive basketball, it's straight pretty. Now, one thing that Syracuse and the fans need to watch out for is Tim Hardaway Jr. has not gotten hot yet. He's got 2 games left to do it, and he's going to start tonight and probably continue on Monday. Michigan and the other win the championship game.
And I think Syracuse has not played a physically offensive team like Michigan, I don't believe, all year. I could be wrong, but I just don't believe they played that kind of physicality. Michigan also plays a zone. But when you've got someone like Trey down the middle, okay, who can get the ball off to people like Nick Stauskas and Tim Hardaway all day, I think that creates problems for that zone defense of Syracuse. Now, I could be wrong. We're going to find out tonight. But I'm interested to see how offense matches up with defense here, okay? That's basically what it boils down to.
I tell you the key, especially in that 2-3 zone. What's gonna be crucial for Michigan is which side of that 2-3 zone that C.J. Fair closes out on that corner jump shot.
Absolutely.
If you put your shoot on the opposite side, the advantage goes straight to Michigan. But C.J. Fair is so good closing out that 2-3 zone, it's gonna be hard to shoot on his side. So it's been interesting to see. Right. Beeline and Boeheim are 2 great minds offensively and defensively. You couldn't have picked a better place for a Final Four. You couldn't have picked a better 4 teams. Wichita State is the true underdog. It reminds you of Butler. I'm glad they're here, man. It's an awesome weekend, and we've got great weather for it.
Yeah. I think that game. I think the Louisville-Wichita State game is closer. Louisville wins. Don't get me wrong. Louisville wins. It's much closer because now the team needs Russ Smith and Peyton Silva even more. They're going to need Luke Hancock to come by with more threes than he's done all tournament. Now, even though Louisville shot 55% during the tournament, and you see what they did to Duke, now they depend on they need Luke even more so than ever. And Peyton and Russ, they're going to need those guys to post up every moment of the game with Ware being out.
They got to turn over the defensive side.
I'm just sitting back listening to you guys because, as I said, I can't jump in there just act like I'm under the fire. But we have about 10 minutes left in the podcast, and we talked about the good, we talked about the bad, and here's the buzz. Now, some of you, I think a couple of you guys are actually coaching, and I want to talk to the fact that in the current situations that are trending right now, like the clip we played at the beginning, the guy said that he tried to bring this situation at Rutgers for a while. In the APS scandal, we got one or two parents. What is the actual culture of sport? And when situations like this jump off, I had a question, and Dexter and I talked about it a little bit earlier. How much do parents know, and how much do parents not know? What is this culture of sports that we're seeing?
I think all of us that have coached know that coaches get a little intense. Yes, they yell. Yes, they scream. I don't know too many coaches that do what this Rice character did. If I had a son and I saw that video of him pummeling my kid, hitting him in the face with a basketball, kicking him in the back, kicking him in the butt, I think I would have made a trip up there to have a talk with him. It's a little expected to believe that a coach is he going to grab a player, yank him into the position and say, hey, look, this is the position, this is what I need you to do. If you believe that doesn't go on, then I got a bridge to sell you. Do coaches curse periodically? Yes. Do they scream? Yes. But for certain players, you have to do that. I don't say that you do that necessarily, but for some players, there are some players you have to get that to because it's just so thick-headed. Now, I don't do that. I've coached 12 and under. I don't have to cuss, yell, scream. I just have to say it one or two times. That's it. But when you're coaching down here in SEC, ACC country, don't fool yourself, parents, believing that you're sending your kid up to the University of Georgia or Florida or down to the University of Miami, and those coaches are not in those kids' grills, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's not that much of a problem. Yolanda, can you hear me?
What about the situation we had with the players? You guys, I'm sorry, I'm running. What about the situation we had with the coach and the molestation situation that was going on? Or either let's go with FAMU and the whole band sports culture. Do parents know, like knowing that, I remember when the incident happened at FAMU, the minute there was an error on the field, Twitter began to jump off, knowing that the drum major could possibly face some repercussions. As parents, when you're putting your kids through this, do parents know that this stuff is going on, or are parents perpetuating it? Are parents turning their heads when they see a coach that's a little overzealous, when they see a child coming home with grades they ain't supposed to have? Are too many parents supporting the underlying sports culture to the point that the good culture of sports gets thrown out?
Well, I won't say.
Let's start with Avery and go down the list.
Well, I personally think, I think parents have to know to a certain degree. I mean, most, parents who have kids that's going off to college, has been in the college themselves at some point, or they have children who are athletes. They might have been athletes, at a college or something like that. So I think they have to know to a certain degree. Now, I want to speak about the incident that happened at FAMU regarding like the band where the kid died or whatever. I kind of want to question: do we really think that the people who participated should be brought up on charges when the actual band member, who actually agreed to be hazed or who actually participated in it. I bear the question, should those people be held responsible when the individual himself, agreed to it, and it's unfortunate that, he died because of it. But, that's my question. I wonder, should they be held responsible when the individual himself agreed to say, hey, okay, yeah, I want to be a part of this. I know it's going to be hazing. I want to do it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Can you hear me, Yolanda?
I got you.
Okay, this is Stogie Kenyatta calling from Los Angeles. Did you hear me?
I can hear you good. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. They're prosecuting the actions. They're prosecuting the results and not the actions, because had the kid not died, no one would have been in court at all. They would not have even gotten arrested for it. And what has happened is that there may have been some contributory health factors why this kid passed away. One of the things that jumped out at me was that he was a 26-year-old sophomore. I've never met a 26-year-old sophomore that was in student groups and organizations like that. That's pretty old for that class as a sophomore, a 26-year-old. And the fact that at 26 you're a little bit physically heavier and stronger than the kids that are 19, 20, 21, then I wonder how come the results were so catastrophic for him alone for something that has been going on for a very long period of time.
Okay, guys, let me stop for a minute because we got about 3 minutes actually left on the podcast, and want to get into this a little bit more. Is everybody okay with hanging on maybe another 10 minutes or so?
Sure, that's fine. I think one of the panelists had something to say about the Rice incident too.
Okay, and let me ask too. Wait a minute, is that Stogie Kenyatta on the line?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were called in. Let me bring in Stogie. And the Stogie, guys, is one of my favorite actors right now. And if you follow me on Twitter, if you see anything, you saw how excited I was when I saw him in a one-man show about the history and life of Paul Robeson. So we tried to get him on the interview on a podcast Thursday, and I said, hey, look, we're talking about this today. Because here's the thing. When we talk about potential, and the potential even of our athletes, when we talk about the potential of young black men, I'm not seeing our young men reach back far enough. I'm seeing young people knocking on doors that have already been opened, ceilings that have already been broken. And when I saw Stogie in this life story of Paul Robeson, it just opened up so much to me. And when I look at our young people, how they're trying to grasp onto the fictional history of Django, and you saw the YouTube idea, who needs Django when you have Paul Robeson? So I really wanted to get Stogie in here, and I'm glad I'm trying to jump on here now and extend some time on the podcast, because I want to talk about this as far as where we are with parents and what our children are, how far our children are going back into our history and looking at role models that are already there for them. But you said a panel, somebody wanted to talk about a little bit more about the Rice situation. Keep talking, guys. I'm going to extend.
And ironically, can I mention really quick that Paul Robeson went to Rutgers and was a student athlete there and made All-American as a football player. Played football, basketball, catcher in the baseball team, and he ran track for Rutgers in 1917 through 1919. I mean, how many?
And here we are today. We have a young black man who was trying to bring light, trying to be the whistleblower. Here's the thing. Why do we give the whistleblower such a hard time? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know who's really giving him too much of a hard time. He's going to win because Eric Mordock is very legitimate. He played college basketball. He was an All-American, and he played 9 years in the NBA. So he has credentials and he understands what he's speaking of. You know. But before I forget, I want to mention the show is coming to Atlanta. At the Academy Theater in Avondale, April 19th and the 21st. And in the city of Atlanta on April 20th, that's a Saturday, we're doing a fundraiser for the Claire Muhammad schools there in Atlanta. So there are 3 shows there in addition to the Morehouse show, but I think that will be private for the colleges, students only. But we have the 19th and 21st in Avondale, the Academy Theater in Avondale Estates, and on the 20th for Clara Muhammad Schools, the benefit.
That's right, and I think you have a day, too, that you and I are going to try to work something out, too. And I tell you, people, and especially those of you that have these sports teams and these youth leagues all around the city, take the youth to see this show. show. For me and what I came home, and I'm bringing my son and his friends back because I feel like the story of Paul Robeson is equivalent to the 4-minute mile. And I know y'all sports people can understand that analogy. Just like when somebody first ran that 4-minute mile, that's what it means. That's what the history of Paul Robeson. Here we are talking about Rutgers, and Paul Robeson I think he said he lettered in pretty much every sport that they had. And not only that, let's put a time, because a lot of my young people are like, okay, what are they talking about? What century are we talking about Paul Robeson at Rutgers University?
He was there between 1915 and 1919. So right at the turn of the century. He was one of the first African-American All-Americas. He graduated magna cum laude. He was a valedictorian. He went on to Columbia University School of Law, graduated, passed the New York State Bar in 1922. So he was one of the first, our most brilliant athletes and one of our most brilliant intellectuals as well. He was truly rare and gifted, and of course went on to act and sing and fight for social justice for black people and people all over the world. So he's just amazing people. And the Library of Congress took 100 years and chose 50 people, and he was one of the 50 most intriguing Americans, influential Americans of the 21st century.
So clearly, nearly a century later, young men should clearly be able to follow in his footsteps. But I'm telling y'all, our young men don't know that these footsteps are out there for them to follow in. Turn right now. And here's the thing with the APS cheating, how do you not know your child is not reading? Turn right now and ask your child to read you something. Google right now Paul Robeson. Bring your child over to the computer, because you sitting there on the computer, they're sitting there on their laptops and their phones and their devices. Tell them to Google right now Paul Robeson and read you something. If they can't Google it and they can't read it, you got a problem. But there is a history for our young people to follow in. Okay, guys, I was able to extend the show. I want you guys to go ahead and continue talking.
Can I mention the website really quick?
We host Final Four in Atlanta. My very own Final Four fanatics are on the line with us talking sports. Pick it right back up. Go ahead.
I want to briefly mention the website. It's paulrobeson1manshow.com, which has all the information on there. Paul Robeson, ROBESON, onemanshow.com, and it's all spelled out.
All spelled out. All right, and let's go back. Who was that? I think Cooper, or was it Avery, or somebody want to talk a little bit more about the Rice situation?
I think it was Cooper. He was saying something.
Well, no, but I can chime in on the Rice situation. The thing that's interesting about that, and with the video footage, it actually makes Bobby Knight and Woody Hayes look like saints. I mean, coaches do yell. Coaches do add in a timely cuss word, but you also have to know, the players on your team. Some guys you have to give that to, sometimes some guys that you don't. And sometimes you do have to yank a player in place and put them in a particular formation or to play. But
hold on, right there. Because is this in the coach's handbook, yanker? Because Dexter said the use the same word. Wait, hold on. Yank a player and put him in place. Is that in the coach's handbook?
It's in the underground coach's handbook, where you just gently place the young man in the formation. You use your tone and kind of motion him over to you. Let me use the correct language there. But as far as actually physically tackling and knocking somebody over and throwing the ball at them, not only at their legs, but throwing it at their head, that's malicious intent. That's unnecessary for any level of coaching. You won't see it with the kids. You definitely won't see it in high school. And I don't know what thought he had the liberty to do it in college. Now, I wouldn't necessarily take a trip up there to talk to him, or we're going to have some physical words. But that's just it's unnecessary, and it's definitely the extreme minority in college sports today. So I don't want that to sour people on, their kids going to college. But what it does mean is that you do need to not only research the school, but also research the coach that you want to send your kid to play for.
Right.
And
also too. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say also too that the comparisons to Bobby Knight and Woody Hayes, are unwarranted only from the standpoint that those guys were winners. This guy had a terrible record. His team sucked year in and year out. I don't know. He should have lost the job. He should have lost the job just on his record alone. He should have lost that job. And with Bobby Knight and Woody Hayes, it's in the heat of battle. They're actually trying to win a championship in the middle of a game. this guy's abusing people in practice going on for years and years and years. And the thing is, he's at a disadvantage because I played college ball, and I know there's every team. I've never played for a coach that can whoop me. And I know because these guys are younger and stronger, and if those guys had to turn around and beat him down, then there would have been a whole different ball because it would have been assault.
Right, absolutely.
You know,
exactly.
Because he got a 6'9" center there, okay, even a Lithuanian guy, okay? And when you start calling people fags and all kind of stuff like that, man, as a black player, you got to be kidding me. I'm out of Brooklyn, you know. And I want to mention, too, that Kevin Ware, okay, even though he started in New York City, that's an Atlanta product, and he's from the Atlanta high school system there. So you guys did a great job because he's a fine, well-spoken, you know, well-mannered young man, and he's a wonderful representation, you know, for the Atlanta school system coming out of there, and you guys as well as with our boy Dwight Howard.
And we're going to do 20 more minutes. Let me just let everybody know that you are listening to DryerBuzz and Company. I'm sitting back, chilling under the dryer while my Final Four fanatics are giving you some sports this weekend as Atlanta hosts the Final Four. I definitely want to talk about it. Give me some good examples out there. Who's really doing this on the up and up? And I know you guys are coaching, so if you want to shout out, you know, your neighborhood little leagues, but really, what is the good side of sports culture?
I think the good side of sports culture is let's go back to Bobby Knight. Bobby, yes, he could be out of control, but the one thing you couldn't say about Bobby was that he didn't have a love or like for his players. He would take these kids out of a game if they didn't perform in class. There are a lot of coaches right now. Right. Auburn University of Auburn, prime example. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Cheating scandal. That's Jarvis' school. Cheating scandal going on. They will be lucky if the NCAA
allegedly.
Okay, there's an alleged cheating scandal where they paid tutors and other students to take tests for some of the football players. Okay, now as crazy as Bobby Knight was, that would never have happened in Bobby Knight's administration. For all the chair throwing, for all the slapping referees, that would never have happened because But he personally took 3 players. I'm trying to remember who the player was. They needed him in one of the games. He snatched him out because he didn't make the grade in one of his classes. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know of too many coaches that will do that nowadays because there's so much pressure on them to win. When he was interviewed on ESPN 30 for 30, he said, most of my kids are from the inner city. When I sat down with their mothers and fathers, I made a promise that they were going to graduate first with a degree. That's what he said. He said, and he told one dad, yeah, I have to get in your son's ass sometimes. And the dad told him, yeah, it's no problem. I have to do it myself. But the kid graduated. What that guy did at Rutgers was just insane, especially with a record of 15-16. I'm sorry, I had to go on my rant. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, that's okay. Point.
Keep going. I'm just listening.
Well, and I speak to this like he's saying. You know, the kids are there to graduate and go to school. They don't have the grades. They don't play. I know Mike Krzyzewski still does that. And recently, well, I'm going to date myself. When he had Ala Abdelnaby there, he suspended him for a couple of games because he wasn't going to class. Now on the flip side, you have guys, and I'm going to talk about Denny Crum, and I'm going to talk about Louisville. He had LeBradford Smith at Louisville. The first thing he said, I came to play basketball, not go to class. So, you know, you have to, he was there to go to the, what you have is you have this misconception. Everybody thinks that they're in that real small 0.5% that's going to make it to the next level, and they're there just to make it to the NBA and not, you know, utilize what their skills are there for to get that education. And you do have coaches, and there are good coaches out there that stress, you know, the student part of the term student athlete. I actually have a friend of mine that's a academic advisor at LSU, and they stay on them to get those grades. I know it's SEC, and I'm not going to talk about Auburn. I'm not saying LSU is clean either, but you do have some schools out there that make sure their kids are students first, athletes second.
And how important is that? And where does that start? Do you see that from the youth leagues on up, or do parents really get that, or do they really think, everything starts at home. It's got to start at home. Before you hit the fields, it's got to start at home.
and each level from there, then it's just instilled again on the coaches on up and up. And I'm on the high school level, and we stay in our kids' behinds every day. They have to have a weekly check, progress report turned in to see how they're doing in class, whether they're borderline with a C or a D, or whether they have an A, and we stay on them. They don't, they have the no pass, no play rule in the state of Georgia in high school, but we have our own standards too, because the term dumb jock is still out there. People don't say it much, but they think it. So we want to make sure that our players are students first and athletes second. If they tender the student part, the athlete portion is easy.
All right, let me quickly ask y'all about baseball, and then we're going to get out of here because, as you know, the Atlanta Braves had their season opener, and so we're back in the baseball season. I think basketball's still going on, and the diehard football players keep putting the countdown out there. Okay, y'all got some time. Let's enjoy some of these other sports. So let me ask. Now, the Braves put out a photo on their Facebook page, and it had, not the whole team. It had 3 African Americans, okay? And and there's some talk about them trying to get black folks to come on back to the baseball.
Well, they should after what they did to the ones back in the 90s. But go on.
Right, okay. It's like, and the fact of the matter is, we haven't been there since the 90s because there was like some stuff going on. But what's up with that? What's up with baseball right now? Are black folk not going to the baseball game?
Well, it's not necessarily not going to the baseball game. It's just that you don't see the parks in the inner cities anymore.
Right.
You go to the suburbs. You got soccer fields. You got pristine baseball fields. I can't go right down here on Cascade and see a nice baseball facility and the kids are there, but I can go find a basketball court. So, you still have parents that are still directing their kids toward baseball, or playing all sports, as a matter of fact. But it's just we're just smaller numbers, and it's unbelievable. It's actually a good thing that you have the Upton brothers and Jason Hayward on the cover of the Braves media guide because, now where we really are the minorities in sport, you're putting these guys at the forefront.
And let me just shout out my cousin's son. I got to do this. My cousin's son, DJ. He is a pitcher, and he's been doing, shutouts all over the place. And he plays for the DeKalb County school system. So you guys support that. What are some of the? We're in Atlanta. What are some of the top youth leagues around that we should be watching? Who's going to be? I know we ask all the time. Who are the next? Who are the marquee players? But who is somebody we ought to really be looking at? Somebody jump
Anybody
in
14 to 17?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, Atlanta in the South, the talent is just so stacked. I'm gonna speak on basketball for a second. DeKalb County just had its first All-Star basketball game on Thursday for the ladies and the young boys, and I mean, it's just awesome to see that wealth of talent. Now, in baseball, you hear them talk about the East Cobb League, but I'm telling you, on DeKalb, anybody that comes out of that Redan High School, Redan Park organization can play baseball.
Right. Redan has been. I'm sorry, go on.
Go ahead, Dexter. Go ahead. You got it.
I was going to say, Redan has always been pretty stat, even since going back to the 80s. They've always fielded some pretty good baseball teams. But to your point, Coach, what you were saying about the parks, I think it's a crime that, for example, the city of Atlanta, when they built the Abbeville Recreation Center, they put a swimming pool in, put a basketball court in, they put the Senior Arts Craft Center in there, and you had land to build a baseball stadium. When I asked one of the elected officials, well, why didn't you do that? His response was, well, we just don't play baseball anymore in the city. And to his point, I said, well, that's because you guys have pretty much shut it down. I said the only 2 baseball parks I can think of that are still in existence is over there at Betsy Brown and Kirkwood. And I know people listening all over the world right now. They have no idea where, but that's local here in Atlanta, and another one over at Emmett Park. But to your point, Yolanda, the Braves have the Upton brothers as the face along with Hayward. Because, they do want more blacks to come back to the game. Because, in all honesty, they know what happened during the 90s. They know we left. They did a clearinghouse. They got rid of Dion, McGriff, Justice, I mean, they cleaned house. To me, as a black male, it looked as if, we just don't want to have any African Americans on the baseball team. Now, I can't prove that conspiracy theory if my life depended on it. They said it was a business move. That's what they said. They said it was a business move because they traded McGriff and these other guys for. But, yeah, I'll take their word for it. But it looks like they're trying to make amends by doing this.
All right, guys. I know it's in the middle of the day. You guys have got plenty to do. The buzzer is going off. We went into overtime. I do want to thank you guys for jumping on and talking sports with us. Anybody got anything going on that we need? I know we need to support Stogie Kenyatta is coming back to Atlanta with the life of Paul Robeson. Please, all your little leagues, all your young men, and even young women, come out and see this. You can get information at DryerBuzz.com. You can follow Stogie on Twitter. I just dropped out some of the Twitter names for the panelists, and definitely catch them on Facebook. Anybody else have got anything else we need to be watching and supporting?
Yeah, well, I got one quick thing for all the Twitter followers. Y'all can please follow me at 3 Kings Approach. Within about the next week or so, facilitating an online radio talk show. It's called the Approach with the 3 Kings. So y'all look out with that. It's basically going to be for empowering men to become better individuals, better in their relationships, better in their marriages. So that's at 3 Kings Approach. Twitter.
Spell that out for us. You spelling out the number 3 or just 3?
Yeah, it's at the number 3, KINGS Approach. APPROACH.
Okay, good. I got you. I'm going to drop you on my Twitter and add you to the tweets that we were doing for the show. All right. Anybody else?
No, just Michigan over Syracuse and Louisville by 10.
That's right.
So, Coop and Dexter, y'all going for the same team. Stogie, Avery, what you got?
I got Syracuse over Michigan and Louisville over Wichita State.
I got Michigan over Syracuse. Those kids are younger. They're great shooters. If you're playing that zone, once they get in a little bit of foul trouble, and those kids have come from behind. They were down by almost 20 to Kansas, and they came behind. They're not worried about it, and Tim Hardaway hasn't stepped up as yet. Once he gets hot to go with what they have, they should do well. And Louisville all the way.
All right, of course, I have got the best in Final Four Fanatics. Having a clue what teams they just mentioned or who's playing. I'm just here to spread the buzz and support. Thanks, guys. I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. I got a couple of announcements, so I'm going to be right back. But, again, let me just thank everybody. And I'm dropping their Twitter names if you want to follow them on Twitter and, of course, shouting them out on Facebook. Thanks again, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you just a couple of announcements. Let me just quickly take just a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back, and I'll tell you what's buzzing this week at DryerBuzz.com.
Are you a Buzz Club member? With DryerBuzz.com, syndication comes with Buzz. Insert your business news in our daily Buzz to take advantage of instant, repeat, and ongoing traffic. As a Buzz Club member, become consumers' choice, keeping your brand and news in front of our daily readers and live real-time audience. Be seen, heard, and get found more often as we continue to drive traffic to your business, service, and products. Membership comes with Buzz. Join today. Visit DryerBuzz.com.
Okay, we are back, and, of course, you're listening to DryerBuzz and Company, our Saturday podcast. It's called Is My Hair, What Do You Care? And, of course, today we ask, what do you care about sports, the good, the bad, the buzz of sports culture. As the headlines, a lot of sports stories are trending in the headlines, and, of course, Atlanta, a beautiful weekend, is hosting the Final Four. And so we wanted to bring the Final Four Fanatics on and let you hear from them. And I want to thank everybody for hosting us in your salons and in your barbershops and turning us up as we turn up the heat. Now, this week, inside the headlines at DryerBuzz.com, as you know, the second week of the month, we literally changed the game. So on Monday, this coming Monday, the second Monday, April 8th, we want you to grab lunch and meet us at RootTV.com/live to watch yet again another great panel that's going to help you change the game. We're talking about balancing the pursuit of, and it's the pursuit of either happiness, if you're trying to balance happiness, education, family, your work, your job, your profession, you're trying to be an entrepreneur, all of these things that we are trying to balance. If you look around, you'll notice that everybody is in the pursuit of something. And we're going to find out on Monday how to balance it all, how to work together, how to collaborate, how to build on these dreams that we are also inevitably in the pursuit of. And, of course, coming back to the stream, we're going to have Rochelle Shaw. Y'all know she got that equation for that $1 million business. She has consulted with DryerBuzz and put us on our grind. She's got the tips for you breaking down how to get that $1 million business if you're on that pursuit. We've got Andrew Morrison. He has a wonderful group that is on the pursuit, and they're in the midst of their 16-week challenge. You know, Andrew does these 16-week challenges periodically throughout the year, and now we're going to jump in and check up with the group that he's got going right now. He does a wonderful call, I think, on Sunday night. So if you are in the pursuit of a business, an entrepreneur, or just trying to balance your life, you can watch Andrew and the tips that he has for that and jump in on his 16-week challenge. Now, of course, in the pursuit of, you're in the pursuit, the very important part of that is to tell your story. If you are looking to entertain an audience, if you're looking to build a following, or get you some new customers, or even just tell your story because you are out there making history and you're wondering, like, why am I not on these shows and why am I not getting booked for this and that? We got Dee Dee Conchetta in. She's going to tell you, again, how to balance it all in this pursuit and tell your story. We bring the experts to you. As you know, we have taken the conference, broken it down to bite-sized pieces, and every month we chew on a topic. And this month, second Monday, April the 8th, we are talking about how to balance your pursuit. Whatever you're in the pursuit of, how to balance it with family, how to balance it with your job, how to balance it all. You're going to find out. Grab lunch, take over the boardroom at your office, and jump on the stream. Don't jump on by yourself. Jump on with some friends. Jump on with your business partner, people that you are working with, people who support you. Leave them haters alone. If you check our timelines, we did a chat this morning about how to get rid of haters. And the way that you get rid of haters is you stop making errors, because haters, break it down, are highly attracted to errors regarding success. If you got haters, you probably made an error. And this is how you fix those errors. Join us Monday, April the 8th, and every second Monday, in which we help you change the game. We're going to end the week. The next Tuesday after that, we want to invite you guys out for a wonderful workshop called Blogging, the Business of Blogging for Business and Nonprofits. It's going to be a wonderful workshop. We started it. Now we are doing it in partnership with Operation Hope, Ebenezer, and the King Center. So we've got a great new location. Those of you that are already signed up, you are locked in. But through this partnership, we're able to offer 10 additional spots. Now, these spots for you to attend complimentary because of this partnership and the sponsorship, the spots will open up on Tuesday morning after we change the game. On Tuesday morning, the spots will open up at 11 a.m. If you want to attend the Business of Blogging, where I'm giving all my blogging secrets, the Business of Blogging for Business and Nonprofits, you got to be at the link at DryerBuzz.com at 11 a.m. on Tuesday so we can tell you how to get signed up. And that's, again, in partnership with Operation Hope, Ebenezer, and the King Center. And there's more information about that, of course, at DryerBuzz.com. That's how you spread the buzz. We give you the headlines at DryerBuzz.com, and, of course, on the podcast, we take you inside those headlines. We bring all these wonderful people to you so that you can get the buzz behind the buzz. I want to thank you guys. We are now in the midst of a new series of podcasts. So Thursdays, you can catch us for a great debate before Scandal. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we're turning up the heat in the Salon and the Barbershop for a great debate. And you just got a great debate from our Final Four fanatics. The minute I hit stop on this podcast, I want you to hit share and share this in your timelines. Tell all your friends to take a listen. Those of you that want to get booked on the podcast, or you've got a great story we should tell at DryerBuzz.com, go now to pitch.DryerBuzz.com. You can send information, you can upload flyers, you upload photos, all of that. That's how you spread the buzz. That's how we tell your story. Thanks again for listening. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. We got 70 degrees in Atlanta. I want you to be mad because I'm about to go out and get all up in it and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And join us on Monday as we change the game over lunch. Everybody spread the buzz.
What up, this is Ludacris, and you know I'm disturbing the peace at DryerBuzz.com.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl Monique, and you just got the buzz with DryerBuzz.com.
Atlanta, you just got the buzz behind the buzz with Tyler Perry. This is Dallas Sauce in Atlanta. Spread the buzz.